Among the numerous ancient civilizations that ruled the world, there's an important civilization that is as ancient as any Egyptian civilization. So the secrets of their origins range from their enigmatic beginnings to their pioneering contributions to human society. So, are you curious about the fascinating mysteries behind the ancient Sumerians? These guys were the OGs of civilization, but where did they come from? So, get ready and stay with us as we dive into this video. So let's get started. The Sumerians, pioneers of civilization. The Sumerians of Mesopotamia are celebrated for their pivotal contributions to early civilization. Although not the first people to inhabit Mesopotamia, they are recognized as the earliest known ethnic group to live there. Alongside the Egyptians, the Sumerians developed one of the earliest writing systems capable of representing language in complete sentences, called cuneiform. This innovation marked a significant leap in human communication and record-keeping. In addition to their writing system, the Sumerians are renowned for building some of the world's first cities, such as Uruk, Ur, and Eridu. These urban centers were marvels of ancient engineering, featuring complex infrastructures, including ziggurats, which were massive temple complexes that served as religious and administrative hubs. The development of these cities laid the groundwork for urban civilization, influencing subsequent cultures and societies in the region. The Sumerians also made groundbreaking advances in calendar and timekeeping systems. They devised a lunar calendar that organized the year into months and weeks, a system that would evolve and influence later civilizations, including our modern calendar. Their division of the day into 24 hours, each hour into 60 minutes, and each minute into 60 seconds remains a fundamental aspect of measuring time today. These achievements in writing, urban development, and timekeeping underscore the Sumerians' role as pioneers of civilization. Their innovations shaped their contemporary world and left a lasting legacy that continues to impact modern society. The Sumerians' contributions highlight their importance in the history of human development, marking them as a foundational culture in the story of civilization. The enigmatic origins of the Sumerians. When we refer to the Sumerians, we mean the people who lived in the land of Sumer, spoke the Sumerian language, and created a distinctive culture known for its early development of writing, urbanization, and innovations in timekeeping. However, the origins of the Sumerians remain a puzzle that has intrigued scholars for decades. Key questions include how long the Sumerians had been in Mesopotamia before they developed writing and urban culture, and whether they originated from another region. The earliest evidence of the Sumerians in southern Mesopotamia comes from texts written in the Sumerian language, dating back to around 3600 BCE. This suggests their presence in the region, but direct evidence of their origins or arrival time in Mesopotamia is needed. Archaeological periods such as the Ubaid and Uruk periods are critical in understanding their timeline. The Ubaid period, which predates the Uruk period, marks the first settlements in the alluvial plain of southern Mesopotamia. Some scholars argue that the Sumerians were among these first settlers, as the seamless development from Ubaid to Uruk culture shows continuity rather than disruption. Other scholars suggest that the Sumerians arrived later, just before the emergence of their logographic texts. They point to foreign words in the Sumerian language, including names of rivers and cities, as evidence of an earlier population that the Sumerians encountered, and whose language influenced them. A third hypothesis posits that the Sumerians were not a single migrating group, but an amalgamation of various groups, who gradually formed a common culture and language through interactions within Mesopotamia. This theory suggests that the Sumerians' unique identity emerged locally rather than being imported from another region. The earliest indication of Sumerians in southern Mesopotamia lies in the appearance of texts scribed in Sumerian script. Dating back to approximately 3600 BCE, these texts hint at the presence of Sumerians during this period. Even the earliest syllabographic texts of the region are written in Sumerian, further supporting the notion of their existence at this time. However, direct evidence of their presence in Mesopotamia still needs to be discovered before this era. In the 1920s and 1930s, physical anthropologists embarked on a quest to identify Sumerians by examining human remains. They postulated that Sumerians possessed distinctive physical features, such as short, broad skulls, in contrast to the long, narrow skulls associated with Semitic peoples. However, the need for more well-preserved skulls hindered conclusive findings. Moreover, attempts to align iconographic depictions with bone structures encountered challenges due to the stylized nature of ancient artwork. Despite their efforts, physical anthropologists faced limitations in definitively identifying Sumerians based on skeletal remains. The absence of more suitable specimens Sumerians thwarted attempts to draw firm conclusions about the physical characteristics of this ancient group. Additionally, the reliance on iconographic evidence proved insufficient due to ancient artwork's inherent stylization and lack of specificity. The search for tangible evidence of Sumerian presence in Mesopotamia before the emergence of written texts remains a subject of ongoing inquiry. While texts provide valuable insight into the linguistic and cultural aspects of ancient societies, the quest for physical remnants of the Sumerians underscores the challenges inherent in unraveling the mysteries of the past. As researchers continue to explore archaeological sites and analyze existing evidence, the enigmatic origins of the Sumerians persist as a tantalizing puzzle yet to be fully deciphered. The complexity of Mesopotamian populations. As archaeological discoveries accumulated, it became evident that Mesopotamia's population was far more intricate than initially believed. The notion of a clearly defined Sumerian race characterized by distinct physical features gradually faded. Instead, attention shifted towards understanding the correlation between Sumerian culture and language. However, unraveling the mysteries of the Sumerian language posed considerable challenges. Unlike many other ancient languages, Sumerian stands apart due to its lack of known relatives within existing language families. This linguistic isolation complicates efforts to trace its origins or establish linguistic connections. Attempts to link Sumerian with modern languages such as Turkish, Hungarian, or Sino-Tibetan have been made but have yet to provide conclusive evidence. Efforts to associate Sumerian with these modern languages necessitate more persuasiveness. The task involves more than merely identifying superficial similarities in sounds or meanings. It requires rigorous linguistic analysis, considering grammar, syntax, and other linguistic features. Thus far, these attempts have not provided definitive links between Sumerian and any known language family. The enigmatic nature of the Sumerian language adds to the complexity of understanding the origins and development of Sumerian civilization. Without linguistic relatives to provide context or clues, scholars face a significant challenge in unraveling the linguistic history of the Sumerians. The absence of clear linguistic connections hampers efforts to trace their migration patterns, cultural exchanges, and interactions with neighboring peoples. Despite the linguistic obstacles, studying Sumerian culture and language remains a crucial avenue for understanding the ancient civilizations of Mesopotamia. While the precise origins of the Sumerian language may remain elusive, continued research and advancements in linguistic analysis may offer new insights. For now, the enigma of the Sumerian language adds an intriguing layer to the rich tapestry of Mesopotamian history and archaeology. Archaeological periods and hypotheses. The archaeological periods under consideration include the Uruk period, marked by the emergence of urbanism, and the Ubaid period, during which the alluvial plain of southern Mesopotamia was first settled. Scholars debate whether the Sumerians were present during the Ubaid period or arrived later. One hypothesis suggests that the Sumerians were among the first settlers of the alluvial plain. This view is supported by the seamless development from Ubaid to Uruk culture, which is particularly evident in the continuity of temple architecture and forms of worship. The gradual and consistent evolution of material culture from the Ubaid period into the Uruk period suggests a stable population, rather than the arrival of a new group. Conversely, another hypothesis posits that the Sumerians arrived in Mesopotamia when their logographic texts began to be written. Proponents of this theory point to foreign words in the Sumerian language as evidence. For instance, the names of the Euphrates and Tigris rivers and several major cities like Eridu, Ur, and Larsa appear non-Sumerian, suggesting that earlier inhabitants named these places and were later adopted by the Sumerians. Additionally, some basic and agricultural and craft terms in Sumerians seem borrowed from other languages, indicating that the Sumerians may have moved into an already established cultural landscape. However, our limited understanding of the Sumerian language's development before writing complicates this argument. The exact origins and timing of the Sumerians' presence in Mesopotamia remain subjects of ongoing research and debate. The seamless cultural development seen in archaeological records versus the linguistic evidence of foreign influence continues to fuel scholarly discussions about when and how the Sumerians arrived in Mesopotamia. The Amalgamation Theory. A third hypothesis suggests that the Sumerians amalgamated various groups who migrated into Mesopotamia over several centuries. These groups gradually adopted a common culture and language, explaining the presence of foreign words in Sumerian and the seamless cultural development in the archaeological record. According to this theory, the Sumerians did not exist as a distinct ethnic group outside of Mesopotamia, but formed through the interactions of multiple regional groups. This hypothesis is supported by evidence showing that the material culture in Mesopotamia developed smoothly and without significant disruption, indicating a gradual blending of traditions, rather than a sudden influx of a new population. For example, the continuity in temple architecture and worship practices from the Ubaid to the Uruk periods suggests that the cultural changes were evolutionary rather than revolutionary. Additionally, the presence of foreign words in the Sumerian language, such as the names of the Euphrates and Tigris rivers and various major settlements, implies that the Sumerians adopted these terms from earlier inhabitants who had already established themselves in the region. Further supporting this hypothesis is the genetic evidence from studies on the Marsh Arabs, a modern population living in the same region where the Sumerians once thrived. The DNA analysis indicates that the Marsh Arabs have predominantly ancient Middle Eastern origins, suggesting a continuity of the local population over millennia. This genetic continuity aligns with the idea that the Sumerians were not an isolated group that migrated en masse from another region, but were rather a fusion of various peoples already present in Mesopotamia. While this hypothesis provides a compelling explanation for the formation of Sumerian culture and language, it is important to note that the exact origins of the Sumerians remain uncertain. The lack of definitive genetic, linguistic, and archaeological evidence means that the question of where the Sumerians came from and how they developed their distinctive culture is still open to interpretation. Future research may shed more light on this ancient mystery, particularly in genetics and historical linguistics. For now, the idea that the Sumerians emerged from a melting pot of diverse groups in Mesopotamia offers a plausible and intriguing solution to the puzzle of their origins. Genetic studies and future research. Genetic research holds promise in shedding light on the origins of the Sumerians. A study focusing on the Marsh Arabs inhabiting the same region as the ancient Sumerians has yielded intriguing results. Analysis of their DNA indicates a predominance of ancient Middle Eastern genetic markers. This finding suggests a potential link between the Marsh Arabs and the Sumerians, hinting that the former could be descendants of the latter. Moreover, the genetic study suggests that the Sumerians did not originate from South Asia. Despite cultural influences such as water buffalo breeding and rice farming associated with South Asia, the genetic makeup of the Marsh Arabs shows no significant ancient Indian or Southern Asian ancestry. This finding challenges previous hypotheses and redirects attention to other potential origins of the Sumerians. While this genetic research offers promising insights, many questions remain unanswered. The Sumerians' origins continue to elude researchers, and the timeline of their presence in Mesopotamia before the development of their advanced culture remains to be determined. Despite these mysteries, the Sumerians' enduring legacy in shaping early civilization is undeniable. As genetic research progresses, it may provide more definitive answers regarding the Sumerians' origins. By analyzing ancient DNA samples and comparing them with modern populations, researchers hope to unravel the complex history of the Sumerian people. However, until conclusive evidence emerges, the enigma surrounding the Sumerians' beginnings will persist. Nevertheless, the Sumerians' contributions to civilization testify to their ingenuity and resilience. Their writing, urbanization, and timekeeping advancements laid the foundation for subsequent regional and beyond civilizations. While the specifics of their origins may remain uncertain, their enduring legacy inspires fascination and scholarly inquiry. These are the details on the origin mysteries of the ancient Sumerians. What do you think of their lifestyle and historic existence? Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section. So, for more interesting historical stories, hit the subscribe button to our channel, like and share the video, and I'll see you on the other side.